Deep Work by Cal Newport is a must-read for anyone who wants to improve their productivity, focus, and creativity. In the book, Newport examines how distractions are preventing us from achieving the highest levels of success and offers strategies to help us stay focused on our most important tasks. He also explains why deep work, focusing deeply on a task for a long period of time, is essential to success and how to develop the skills necessary to do so. The book provides insights into the benefits of deep work, including increased productivity, greater creativity, and improved concentration. Ultimately, Newport seeks to help readers cultivate the mental discipline needed to achieve their highest levels of success. With his guidance, readers will be able to make more effective use of their time, develop better problem-solving skills, and become more productive in every area of life. If you're looking for a practical guide to help you stay focused and reach your highest potential, Deep Work by Cal Newport is an invaluable resource. Idea 1. How deep work can help you. The author says that deep work is any kind of work that is done without interruptions so that the person can use all of their mental abilities to the fullest. But work can also be surface level. Comes in the form of boring work that has to be done no matter how focused you are. Work that doesn't go very deep, doesn't move the field forward, and is easy to copy. For deep work that pays off in the form of skill development, you need to be able to concentrate and stay on task. Because of this, value is added, but it's hard to copy. On the other hand, shallow work is often used to describe jobs that don't require much thought. It doesn't require much thought, so the action is done while the person is thinking about something else. This is work that can be done again and again. Checking email every few minutes and responding to push notifications are two examples of such tasks, from sources like news websites, Twitter, and Facebook. You are good at this kind of work because it comes naturally to you and you take pride in doing even the most simple tasks. People who can do deep work are becoming more in demand because there are fewer people who can do it. So you will be successful if you can train yourself to do this. When automation takes away their jobs and the chance to use their skills, a lot of people will suffer and die. The next group will also do well and have a lot of success. The staff is very well trained. Many low-skilled jobs will go away as they are filled by people who know how to talk to and work with complicated machines. To put it another way, the well-known ones. This group knows that it's not enough to just be the best in a certain market. When there are a lot of performances on the market, people will only choose the best ones, no matter how small the edge may be. They are the ones who own the property. People with a lot of money who take risks on new technologies that could change the way we live. If you want to do well in today's machine-driven economy, you need to have these two basic skills. The ability to learn hard things quickly. The machines that make up the new economic order are harder to understand and take charge of. They use command lines that are hard to understand, like SQL. How successful you are in the modern world will depend on how well you can use automated systems. Having the ability to keep up a high level of speed and quality in all work done. You need to be aware of the fast changes in your industry and be able to adapt to them. Without this skill, it will be hard at best to learn advanced languages and reach your full potential. Idea 2. Distractions and the urge to do more than one thing at once are the worst things for efficiency. Many people think wrongly that doing more than one thing at once makes them more efficient, because switching from one task to another makes you less productive. Sophie Leroy, a business administration associate professor at the University of Minnesota, looked into this event in 2009. She shows that when we switch from task A to task B, our attention is still on task A, which makes us less good at task B. She split the people she was working with into two groups. Group A did word puzzles until she told them to stop so Group B could read resumes and make hypothetical hiring decisions. Larry would give a short quiz during the break between the two activities to see how many puzzle-related words the participants could remember. Exactly how. Compared to Group B, Group A was much more focused on the puzzle and paid less attention to the most important goal, which was to find the best person for the job. To shorten a long story, multitasking is useless in terms of getting things done. Having access to the internet all the time is just as annoying. Even though having social network and email tabs open on your computer may not seem like a big deal, just seeing things pop up on your screen is enough to make you lose focus, even if you don't respond right away. One study from 2012 by the consulting firm McKinsey showed that employees spend more than 60% of their work weeks using online communication tools and browsing the internet, while only 30% is spent reading and responding to emails. Even with these numbers, it may seem like everyone in the workforce is busier than ever. Simply put, we think we're productive because we switch between tasks and information all the time. But in reality, this just makes us feel busy and scattered. Idea 3. Rules for deep work. If you already knew how deep work can make you more productive, you might have thought that getting that information was the easy part. Instead, it does something. We are bad at doing more than one thing at once because we are easily distracted. By following these rules, you'll learn how to make deep work a regular part of your life. Try your hardest. Have fun with being bored. Put down your accounts on social media. Just drain the shallows to make the water deeper. Don't mess around with your work. Many people don't want to put in the time and effort needed to do work that matters. Our environment's culture makes deployment much more challenging. Accept that you're not very interesting. Train yourself to pay close attention. You need to work on your ability to focus outside of work hours, just like athletes train their bodies when they are not in competition. If you always give in to distractions at the first sign of boredom, it's hard to get the kind of focused attention you need for deep work. There's also the matter of retraining and reconditioning your brain to be easily distracted. This way of getting off track will keep happening over and over. Even if you set out to do serious, detailed work, get used to being bored if you want to avoid this. When your phone makes a beeping sound, you shouldn't check it every time. Train yourself to stay on task and ignore distractions. The third rule is to stop using all social media sites. Using social media is a great example of how to live a shallow life. The author says that our time spent on them doesn't give us anything useful in return. If you feel like you have to check social media every few minutes, it will be hard to concentrate for long periods. Social media isn't a good fit for a deep life because it's so easy to get hooked on. Rule number 4 is to avoid the shallows. The title of the book, The Shallows, shows how people's minds change for the worse when they use the internet. In the previous chapters, shallow work included things like meetings, phone calls, and email responses. Idea 4. The flow state is reached by deep work. This is the key to doing good work. Most people say that they are happiest when they are doing something important. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who came up with the idea of flow, agrees with Newport's ideas about deep work. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, a psychologist and the author of Flow, found that people feel a sense of flow or satisfaction and purpose when they focus on a useful task and are pushed to their cognitive limits. That is, the task is neither too hard nor too easy. Newport points out that, contrary to what most people think, leisure time does not make people as happy. There is nothing more rewarding than pushing yourself to your mental limits, but free time is too unstructured and requires too much work to turn into anything worthwhile. Newport says that the desire for mastery, autonomy, and purpose are universal behavior drivers that are met when a person is in a state of flow. Idea 5. Deep work is a great way to keep your mind in good shape. When you work hard, you can block out a lot of negative and distracting noise from the outside world. It's easy to think that things that happen to you are to blame for not being happy, but research shows that your outlook on life is more affected by what you choose to pay attention to. When in the same situation, you can choose to be happy by focusing on the good things or sad by focusing on the bad things. When you're busy, it's easier to focus on all the things that are wrong with your life than on all the things that are right. If you don't have anything positive to think about, it's easy to let your mind wander to the bad things instead of the good ones. Email is hard on the mind because it reminds you of unfinished business and bad feedback from other people. Idea 6. When you do deep work, you feel like you've accomplished something important. Last, Newport makes his most obscure argument for profound work. He says that deep work is what makes a job worth doing. People used to think that what they did was for the greater good, which made it easier for them to find purpose in their lives. People stopped looking to their religions for meaning after the Enlightenment and the rise of secularism. Instead, they began to look elsewhere. Some people might be driven to nihilism by this, but artists have often found meaning in the things they make from raw materials that don't seem to have any. For instance, finding a beautifully carved table hidden in a piece of wood can give you a sense of purpose. At first glance, the work of a craftsman may seem easy, like carving marble or weaving a blanket. However, it takes a lot of skill to bring out the beauty that is already there in the materials. Because the goals of a knowledge worker's job are less clear and harder to measure than those of an artisan, it may be hard for these workers to feel fulfilled by their work. Newport says that a piece of computer code, a marketing slogan, a business plan, or a new piece of technology can all be beautiful if you approach them with the right mindset and look for the deeper meanings. Idea 7. The 4 kinds of deep work scheduling. Make deep work a habit that happens on its own. You won't have to fight off interruptions as much. Newport says that because you won't have to choose or fight between distractions and meaningful work, you'll be able to spend more time on the latter and fail less often in general. He says that the best way to make deep work a habit is to spend time on it every day. If you want to be productive in deep work over the long term, you'll need to try out different schedules until you find one that works for you. Newport suggests 4 different schedules for deep work, each with its own time commitments and productivity gains. Isolation plans of Type 1. Structure. Get rid of as many small tasks as you can at work and give them to your subordinates instead. You should spend most of your time on deep work. Like a monk, you tend to work in relative solitude and with a lot of focus. Schedules of Type 2 happen over and over again at regular times. Set aside time each week, month, or year to work on big projects. The authors of the book say that you should spend at least a whole day on the practice to get the most out of it. As we'll see in the next timetable suggestion, you can do a few hours of deep work every day, but you won't be able to stay as focused as you would for a full day of deep work. Plan, set aside a certain amount of time every day for deep work that doesn't get interrupted. Think about working hard in the morning from, say, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. before you do any less important tasks. Type 4, last-minute plans, organization. Set aside time for focused work whenever you can. Set aside some time during a family trip to do some work before joining in on the fun. Idea 8. How many hours a day of deep work is best? Newport says that you can only do so much deep work in a day. Anders Ericsson, who wrote the book Peak, says that most beginners can only fully focus for about an hour a day. Experts who have practiced for a long time can go for up to 4 hours, but usually can't go any longer. Idea 9. Plan your online activity. Make a plan for when you will use the internet. Outside of these times, you shouldn't go anywhere near it. Newport gives the following tips on how to get the most out of this method. Write down when you want to use the internet again and what you want to think about when you do. Plan ahead to make sure you don't waste time waiting for the internet. If you can't get online, don't let that stop you. Just move on to something else. People should do more to get ready for the future. If you do this at work all the time, there's no reason to stop and go home. That goes against what you've learned about the workplace. Idea 10. Set up a long list of deadlines. Newport says that the best way to increase focus and productivity is to set very tight deadlines. You can't get distracted and expect to get everything done on time. The first thing to do is figure out how much time you would normally spend on this task. Then cut the time you have left by a lot and make that your goal. Idea 11. Keep your mind clear and use tech in moderation. Because we live in the modern world, our minds have changed so that we are always looking for new things to do. In fact, it seems like everyone we see is glued to their phone or computer, watching videos, sending messages, or checking Facebook over and over again. People had a natural tendency to get off track. Why? Because from an evolutionary point of view, these changes could be either bad or good. This makes it hard for people to keep their attention on just one thing. But you shouldn't worry, because active meditation can change the way your brain works and help you focus. Here's what you need to do. Instead of wasting time, think about a problem you need to solve while you walk your dog, take a shower, or ride the subway to work. To get started, it can be helpful to ask yourself questions that help you figure out the different problems you'll have to solve in order to solve the problem at hand. Once you have a clear goal in mind, the next step is to ask yourself, what do I need to get there? Think of it as a tough mental workout that will help you concentrate better. It's also important to know why you're talking to people online. As an example, if you mostly talk to your friends on Facebook, that's fine, but try to see them in person as much as you can. And if that doesn't work, try going cold turkey. Delete all your social media accounts and wait 30 days before asking yourself, if I had been more active on social media this past month, would my life have been better? Did anyone notice when I stopped using it? If you can't say yes to both of these questions, you should stop doing it. If you said yes, it would be a good idea to go back to it. Idea 12. The benefits of doing nothing on purpose. The author says that everyone needs to take time away from their jobs regularly and for a long time. This methodical laziness will help you get deep work done. This is why. Think about what comes next. Meditation and rest can help you see things more clearly. When making important decisions, the best place to sort through complicated things is in the subconscious mind. So if you keep your mind busy with these things, you will learn more and be better able to decide what to do. To get your strength back, you need some time off. Focused attention is a kind of energy that needs to be used up during a period of hard work. It's a scarce good that's hard to get. You need to rest, get your strength back. Most small jobs are put aside in favor of free time. There is a limit to how much work you can do in one day if you work hard. Most of the time, it doesn't last longer than 4 hours. By the time these hours are up, it will be too late to do anything important. Do keep in mind that doing nothing is not the same as doing nothing at all, and that doing tasks that only require a small amount of your attention is not the same as having downtime. When we say relax, we mean things like taking a walk, chatting with a friend, playing a game with a child, turning on some music, etc. So how could someone add time to relax to their normal schedule? The author suggests a ceremony to end the book. Don't worry about work until tomorrow. Don't waste your time after dinner by thinking about work or going over conversations in your head. Limit your mental processing as much as possible. Take the author as an example. He works here and there on the weekends and usually leaves around 5:30. Even so, he has written a lot of scientific articles and books that have sold a lot of copies. Besides that, he won 2 different grants through competitions. Idea 13, deep work environment. Newport says that you should choose a place like a conference room, the library, or your home office, where you will do nothing but deep work. You should not do work that is so simple and easy. By keeping certain parts of your workspace separate, you can make it easier to work hard. Newport says to start with coffee, eat enough, and add some light exercise to your daily routine to help you focus on your deep work once you've found a good place to do it. Deep work is worth investing in figuratively. Newport says that if you want to get motivated, you should spend money on a grand gesture like a hotel stay or a quiet lodge. He comes to the conclusion that the more effort or money it takes to get to your deep workplace, the more likely you are to use it. Find out what's good about working together. Newport says that while most deep work is done alone, it might be helpful to work next to someone else who is also doing deep work. This can create a kind of competition or productive pressure that makes it easier to stay on task. Idea 14. Get rid of everything that could be a distraction. Newport says that if you want to get more done during deep work, you need to have as few interruptions as possible. Newport says that social media is a major way that many people waste time. Many parts of the internet, like social media, are designed to make people addicted to them, which can keep them from reaching their real goals. It's easy to fool yourself into thinking you're making progress on social media, just like it's easy to fool yourself into thinking you're making progress on shallow work. For example, a lot of people think that Facebook is a good way to meet new people and find out about important news. This may seem like a great idea in theory, but Newport says that the friends you end up making aren't deep connections, so the real effect isn't that great. You'll make plans to see your closest friends and family in person instead of using Facebook as your main way to talk to them. Even if the news you see on your feed is interesting, it won't help you reach your long-term goals. Newport says that some people take internet sabbaticals and don't use the internet at all for a month to avoid being distracted by social media. He doesn't think it's necessary to follow such a plan, just like skilled craftspeople don't have to give up all metal tools. To get the most out of social media, you need to use it in a planned way. Newport says that people often use the any advantage argument, which says that a technological tool is fine as long as it helps the user in some way. He says that way of thinking makes you not pay attention to one thing at a time. You'll be more productive if you focus on a small number of very useful tools instead of trying to do a good job with a lot of different tools that all do a good job in their own way. Idea 15. Don't lose sight of what's important. Find out which factors will have the most impact before you choose what to change. Then, instead of wasting time trying to say no to things that aren't as important, accept the one that will have the biggest effect on your success in the long run. This process will make it harder to do tasks that don't help you reach your goals. Newport says that instead of keeping track of a long list of things to do, you should focus on a small set of priorities that you can handle, and that will help you reach your bigger goals without getting too stressed out. Idea 16. Choose the right metrics. Metrics can help you figure out how well you're doing and where you need to improve. In deep work, the most helpful metrics are leading metrics or metrics you can use in real time to change what your result will be. On the other hand, trailing metrics track the thing you want to improve in the long run. They focus on results. The results of these measures are given at the end, not in real time, which is when they would be most useful for changing behavior. Newport suggests using measurements like the amount of time spent in deep work, the number of pages written, the number of new ideas that come up, etc. All of these types of immediate answers show how good you are at deep work. The number of papers you have published by December 31, 2021 is a lagging indicator because you can't change what you do at that point to increase the number of papers you publish during the year. Idea 17. Keep your metrics open. When your KPIs are out in the open, you'll be more likely to keep doing what you're doing well and have more chances to celebrate your wins. Newport suggests keeping a small whiteboard in your office and writing down your deep work time while you work if you want to keep track of it. Also, you might want to keep track of your progress each hour by crossing off the tasks you finished in that hour. Newport says that if you do this, you'll be able to see exactly what you've accomplished through consistent, focused effort. He thinks that if you have a team, you should all look at the same metrics and use friendly competition to improve them. Idea 18. Set up lines of thought. Reviewing your detailed efforts often will keep you honest about whether or not you've reached your goals. Newport says that the feedback you get from this test will show you where you need to improve. He suggests 2 ways to do it. Set up a weekly review to see how far you've come and to make plans for the next week. Look at what caused and led to each week's good or bad result. Change your routine as needed to get rid of the things that are causing bad results. Okay, let's sum it all up. These are all the main ideas of the book Deep Work. Idea 1. How deep work can help you. Idea 2. Distractions and the urge to do more than one thing at once are the worst things for efficiency. Idea 3. Rules for deep work. Idea 4. The flow state is reached by deep work. Idea 5. Deep work is a great way to keep your mind in good shape. Idea 6. When you do deep work, you feel like you've accomplished something important. Idea 7. The 4 kinds of deep work scheduling. Idea 8. How many hours a day of deep work is best? Idea 9. Plan your online activity. Idea 10. Set up a long list of deadlines. Idea 11. Keep your mind clear and use tech in moderation. Idea 12. The benefits of doing nothing on purpose. Idea 13. Deep work environment. Idea 14. Get rid of everything that could be a distraction. Idea 15. Don't lose sight of what's important. Idea 16. Choose the right metrics. Idea 17. Keep your metrics open. Idea 18. Set up lines of thought.